All right. Well, welcome. I'm sweaty. I tried to squeeze in a workout thinking this was 10:50. I literally saw Austin. I was like, what time? Who's in there? He was like, you are. I threw on Ellie's shirt.
I saw you with no shirt on out there.
Yeah, I had a different shirt. I was like, he's like, what do you need? I was like, your shirt.
Very long.
Cody told us 10:50. Cody's got like an Alabama accent. He may have said 10:15, but I thought he said 10:50. Here we are. I think as I'm saying this, there's no better person to show up sweaty, living your most authentic life than Eric Hinman. So real quick about me, Fern and Marcus, my partners for a long time, used to get mad at me every time we traveled. And it was because I'm like, hey, it's 8 o'clock, I'm going to my room and I'm going to bed. And then no matter what was going on, like a day like today, it's like I have to do a workout. So I did 20 rounds of Cindy. Like I didn't blow anyone's minds, right? But I have to move. And I didn't realize it. And they did it at some point. We all kind of, it was Dan from Push Press. You guys know Dan? And he was like, you guys let Ackerman do that? And he's like, Fern was like, whatever allows Ackerman to show up as Ackerman, I'm cool. And that was it. And I think that's all part of living your authentic life. And Eric and I briefly overlapped in Colorado. Now he's in Austin, Texas. So he drove in. We were very nervous he wasn't going to be here because I was like, Cody's like, where's Eric? I was like, it looks like he's at a boxing match right now. I was like, so I don't know where that is. The only indication you were coming was that little bubble said Dallas. I was like, it says Dallas, so I think he's going to be here. But I got to watch him and see how someone can live their life and kind of create I wouldn't call it a job, but a career out of it. So I'd love to just get his story, and then I really want to open it up for you guys to ask questions. Sound good?
Yep.
Yeah.
And I was going to do that whether I showed up sweaty and late or not, for the record. That's not me. This is me being prepared. So the first way I wanted to get this is everybody sees you now, and if they go onto your Instagram, for lack of better terms, you were just a chubby 20-year-old,
100%.
right?
Yeah.
So, and I know you have a company as well, like an insurance company that helps pay the bills and keeps you, moving forward without having to do a whole lot. So, first question, what was the turning point in your life where you went from your standard, I'm doing the 9-to-5 grind, I'm drinking on the weekends, to ultra fit athlete like yourself? And you guys can hear, he's mic'd up, you guys can hear him?
Hear me?
Cool.
Cool. So it was aesthetic based. I remember being in Bolton Landing, New York, and I was wearing a fairly tight t-shirt, and I looked down and I had this fat roll that was coming out of my t-shirt. And in that moment, I'm like, damn, I've really just let things go. And I was partying really hard every Thursday, Friday, Saturday, living the party life, working hard on the weekdays to make money, just kind of living the public perception of success. Make money, drive the nice car, have the nice condo, go out to fancy dinners, have a nice watch. And I just felt like I was going through the motions in that moment. So I got back from that trip and I hired a personal trainer. So I committed to a 6-month package, 5 days a week, going for 30-minute sessions. And those first couple weeks, man, they sucked. It was 2009, so it was CrossFit type workouts before I knew what CrossFit was. It was in the infancy, obviously, of CrossFit becoming really well known. And over about a 3-month period, I started to see some muscle again, and started to see my abs after 6 months, and also started to recognize that it was more than just an aesthetic. Like I had all day energy. I was positive. I felt like I could just be my vulnerable self without having to consume copious amounts of alcohol. So that was a big aha moment of fitness isn't just for an aesthetic or even performance in sport, because that's what I thought it was before. It's for feeling damn good. So 6 months, personal training. I got back into running. I signed up for the Utica Boilermaker, a 15K, so 9 miles. And I hadn't been running much, but at that point I was starting to look pretty fit. And that race crushed me. I think I ran like 8:45 per mile pace. I was basically, crawling at the end of it, and I was sore for like 3 days after. So I was like, all right, looking fit and being fit can be two very different things. So that started my cardio journey of running again, and then through running, I met some friends who had these really fancy bikes with 4 handlebars, and I was like, what the hell is that bike? What do you do with that? They're like, we're doing a triathlon. There's a 70.3 coming to Syracuse, New York. I'm like, what's a 70.3? Well, you swim 1.2 miles, you bike 56 miles, and then you run a half marathon. And I'm like, you do that in a day? And they're like, yeah, you can do it in 5 hours. I'm like, no shit. So I bought a triathlon bike, hired a triathlon coach, and started training for triathlons. And, that really set me on this journey that I'm on today, where I massively prioritize wellness. And, through that time period, I had a lot of time alone, biking, running, swimming in a pool, 20, 25 hours of training a week. And, I consider that to be my psychedelic experience years, where I'm like, this is how I want my life to be. And prior to that, I was running an insurance agency, and it just didn't feel like it was for me. And I'm like, I want to start doing things that are more aligned with how I'm living my life now. So I opened a CrossFit gym in Syracuse, New York with some business partners in 2013. We scaled that to a HIIT studio and an indoor cycling studio, and then met my business partner in some restaurants that I co-owned in Syracuse, New York, healthy, fast, casual restaurants. So, from then on, I started aligning all of my businesses with what I was passionate about. And then I moved to Colorado in 2017, and that kind of began this new chapter of content creation and investing in consumer brands.
So two follow-ups on that. So one being, how many of you are affiliate owners?
Wow.
Many
awesome.
of you. You're a key demographic.
Yeah.
Like who you were. Not anymore.
Yeah.
Now they'd be like, you're fitter than us. So, but
I don't know about all that, everybody.
when
He's fitter than me. Jason grew up back
Jason,
there.
Jason, you have some games
I
champions
gotta
in the
pick
audience.
and choose workouts with these guys. I can beat them in some.
Unusual. I don't think Jason can beat you in a 70.3, though, we'll say. A 20-year-old former athlete walks in. What are some key strategies to keeping them long-term so they can become this? Because I think in my experience, if a 20-year-old former football wrestler came in and be like, I have to kick their ass to show them. There's like 2 types of people. I need to kick your ass to get you to stay, or I need to coddle you to get you to stay. What would you think for these guys when a version of you walks in is the best way to maintain them?
Yeah, I was that guy in my late 20s that joined a CrossFit gym prior to opening the CrossFit gym. And, I would say there were a few things that were really sticky for me. It was how hard the workouts were. They were very challenging, and being a competitive person, like I wanted to be able to do the workouts faster and heavier weight and get to where, the people were at the top of the mountain. And the community, like the fist bumps after the workouts, the positivity of everyone. Those were the things that I really, really enjoyed and still enjoy about CrossFit and the other sports I compete in. So I would say creating an atmosphere that just breeds positivity and breeds community, doing things outside of the gym with your members, doing events for members to all meet each other from different classes, and then obviously making sure that they don't get hurt. That's probably one of the, and I'm not saying that's on the gym owner, a lot of that is on the athlete, where they walk in and they were a high-level athlete in something and they got to start as a beginner to frickin' overhead squat a PVC pipe. How do you check their ego and just be like, hey, listen, this isn't strength, there's technique involved, there's mobility involved, and, that female over there that's snatching 215, like, she spent 4 years working on mobility and technique before you see that kind of weight on there. So, just really allowing people to understand that CrossFit is skill-based as well. It's not just pure fitness.
How many of you own, put your hands up if you own a gym. Leave your hand up if you work out as much as you thought you would owning a gym. Joe, he's an outlier in Vegas. So, point being, when I watch Eric on Instagram, immediately I'd make my excuses like, the dude doesn't work. Of course he's working out this much. Like, he doesn't have kids. For these guys who opened a gym, like myself, and like and all their friends like, must be nice, you get to work out all day, but they don't get to work out as much. Help bridge the gap, because you've done the thing, like you said, you have a lot of, I would call it passive income coming in because of years of hard work, for the record. But when these are the guys in the grind at 5 a.m. and closing at 8 p.m. and coaching all day, what are some things and pieces of advice you would give to help make sure their fitness still stays a vital part of their lives?
Yeah, I mean, I think the title of this seminar is Your Lifestyle is Your Personal Brand. And building a personal brand for me was unintentional. It just has happened over time. And it was just from living a life that I was really passionate about. So I think as a CrossFit affiliate owner, people are looking at your lifestyle for inspiration. So, getting in your workout isn't selfish. That's good for you because you're going to be a better employer, you're going to be a better father, you're going to be a better dad. And I also think that you want people to emulate you if they're buying into your business. So if you're leading, if you're walking the walk, that is so much more than just talking the talk. And the personal brand, it opens doors, it creates opportunities. No longer do you have to chase. You can attract opportunities by just sharing your journey and inspiring people. So I'm sure everyone here has a journey, and why and how they opened a CrossFit affiliate, like sharing that, I think is really, really powerful, because you never know who you're inspiring or who you're attracting, or who is sharing that with someone else that may want to come in. I think of a lot of things I do as multitasking without multitasking. So, I do recovery every single night. I could get a massage if I wanted to. I could do Normatec boots. But I choose contrast therapy with others because I know that's how I can meet other people. That's when I take my in-person meetings, and I'm getting my recovery time in, and I'm having really, really vulnerable, powerful conversations with people that create deep bonds. So, how can you multitask without multitasking? Is there like a class that you want to take every single week with your members to really form deep bonds with your members so that they remain members?
On that note, yes, if anyone checks out, you have your community, you're always in the sauna, you're in the cold plunge, you're making cheeseburgers.
I love cheeseburgers. It's on my bracelet.
It's fun to watch how much you can eat, by the way. I live vicariously through you seeing that. But how do these guys emulate that community? Because, and also while being able to punch out, because being an affiliate owner,
sure.
Yes, there are people there, and they're also like, I don't want to be around you anymore. So, at least for today, right? You guys know what I'm talking about. And then you'll, of course, get the members that's like, oh, Sally showed up? How do I have this without Sally showing up? How can you how can you replicate that community feel as a business owner, not just personally? Yeah,
so what are environments that you can create that breed community and conversation? Sauna is one of those things for me that I just absolutely swear by. It's something that anyone can do. You can get in there, you can get hot, and you can meet other people. So, and I think it's also an incredible income generating tool where you don't need a coach. You don't need, a skilled person to teach people how to sauna. You just need someone to clean it here and there. So what are the environments that you can create that will breed community? That's one of the ones that I think is super powerful and an additional revenue stream. Having events, regular throwdowns, having regular happy hours, again, just like things that are going to get people together that may be in different classes, because you want people to feel like they're part of something. That is, I think, just as sticky as the feeling you get after a hard workout is that conversation you had with someone after a hard workout, the 4 new people that you met, and now you're going out to dinner with them. I think that's so powerful, having events where you can just get lots of people together.
Yes, in Vegas with Joe, he's like the ultimate schmoozer. So if you ever want to we're at the UFC together, he's like talking to everyone. Like, it's impressive to see people like you guys, because I'm a natural introvert. I don't want to talk to anyone, but you guys are out there making relationships, which is key. So you have a lot of partnerships, and and part of that is because you do have quite a loyal following and a big following. Some of these affiliate owners don't have that yet, but they do have a link to the community. What are some pieces of feedback you would give to someone out here that wants to create partnerships, whether locally or with bigger brands to help spread the word, but also as a way for affiliate owners to generate more income and also get free product for things that they're interested in supporting?
Sure. Yeah, so I look at gyms as being influential. What you have in the gym, what your trainers are wearing, what the owner is wearing, like you guys are all influencing people. So we have this product seating area at our homes where we allow people to create their own swag bag with brands I work with. They come over, they do contrast therapy, and then they can pick out electrolytes and creatine gummies and whatever they want and build their own little swag bag. And when I pitch that to brands, they're like, that's so cool. Like, we want to be involved in that. And then the events that I throw, we hand out massive swag bags. I have a product seeding list with influential people that brands I work with seed product to. So think of your gym as an influencer, as an influential place where you can get early stage companies in people's hands. And I specifically work with earlier stage companies because I know that's where I can add a lot of value in those things that I do. So yeah, I mean, I think gyms can do brand deals just like I do brand deals because you're getting products in people's hands in an environment where, they need it, creatine after your workout, protein after your workout, some electrolytes during or after your workout.
I would give you guys homework right now and write down 3 to 5 brands that you like or support that you can get at your box. I mean, and I did the same back in remember Progenics keto? I had and it was cool. As an affiliate owner, I was like, I'm getting free protein. Where I was paying $50 a bag, and I mean, you go in my pantry now, it's like a Podium store. They just they send me more than I can use. But a good example for me is I pay for Butcher Box, and I eat a lot of ribeye, and I was like, I'm gonna keep posting about them till they start sending me ribeye, right?
Yeah.
Every day I'm gonna keep doing it, and I think you have to be willing to put yourself out
100%.
there.
Yeah, and willing to ask, and just know that this is where marketing dollars are shifting towards. They're shifting away from TV where there's no authority or a billboard where there's no authority to niche markets. People who are influential in that space and have a captive demographic. I had a friend over to sauna last night from Canada, and his whole Instagram page is fitness for first responders. He has 300,000 followers. He said 85% of them are first responders. He's super influential in that market, and he can do incredible brand deals in that market because he has such a niche following. And you guys have niche followings too of people that want to get into shape.
But I like what you said. You guys are the influence in your neighborhood.
Push Press is the easiest full suite software that you can get to run your business.
One of the best things about Push Press, I would say, is the customer service. Hands down, they are the best. We know them all by name. They hear a lot from us.
They know us.
And they know us, but they're there to help you. And they're also gym owners, so they understand. They are out of this world and helping their clients and just have a true passion for helping gym owners. They're so good with customer service.
If you're not using it and your business is ready for it, or you're having stress with the system you're using, it's a no-brainer to give them a call.
Before we found Push Press, managing different things was very complicated and confusing, and so we just needed something that was more user-friendly.
If I had to describe Push Press, it would be comprehensive because they really understand what a gym owner needs, and they give us all the tools that we need to be successful. In fact, I don't think I've ever talked to somebody from Push Press that didn't own a gym. So they understood, and I immediately connected with the people there, and the products that they gave me were just, this is everything I needed. Like, where have you guys been my whole life?
The best way that I can describe Push Press is absolutely phenomenal.
If I had a gym owner friend that didn't have Push Press, I would tell them that it's life-changing when it comes to having more time to work on the business, and the support is coming from other gym owners that are trying to do the same thing that I'm trying to do.
All right, guys, if you like this content, please subscribe to the podcast, but understand we work with affiliates. If you are interested in building your business, understanding strategy, building a better community, and building better coaches and careers for them, hit the link somewhere around this video, and we'd love to have a call with you.
So what are some brands that, have you ever had a relationship where you're like, I don't actually want to support this brand?
I've had relationships where it wasn't a good fit. GNC is one of them. I've learned that I don't like working with big companies because, you know, it has to go through a legal approval process. They're crafting your messaging. They're not allowing the creator to be the creator. So, you know, that's why I've really veered into, I want to work with smaller brands that I perceive to be, you know, the latest and greatest that I think will become big brands. So I try to, I don't want to be a billboard. I want to really feel like I'm adding value with the brands I'm working with, and I know that's earlier stage companies.
Going back to your fitness journey, you got involved in triathlons. If these affiliate owners wanted to get involved in that space, because we all know the best way to train for a triathlon is I was going to say CrossFit, but yes, you can do one. Or we can use, you know, the High Rocks community, right?
Yeah.
What are some ways and what are some tweaks you would do to the way they program or how they advertise to get into those communities?
Yeah, I mean, more endurance work, obviously. So CrossFit has been my foundation for so much. It's been my foundation for High Rocks, Ironmans, long mountain bike races, marathons, big hikes in Colorado. I do think CrossFit it prepares you the best for the most. And, you know, if you can be 4 to 6 months out from achieving at a pretty high level in a lot of things, that's what I think CrossFit does really, really well. So it's then just figuring out what people's interests are and helping them with whatever journey they want to go on from CrossFit. You know, you want to do a High Rocks race, then hey, up your running mileage to 20 miles per week. I'll put together a little Zone 2 running plan for you with 1 track workout a week. You know, you want to do a half Ironman, that obviously involves skill and fitness. And that's going to be like, hey, you need a biking plan, running plan, swimming plan. I can introduce you to this triathlon coach that you can layer on top of the CrossFit training. Because when I was competing in Ironman, I was still doing CrossFit 3 to 4 days a week. You know, prior to an A race, I would back off on it quite a bit. But most of the year, I was in the CrossFit gym. And I really think that helped me tremendously from not getting injured and doing a high repetition sport. I think we all know High Rocks is growing tremendously right now. So, you know, having a High Rocks specific class, doing some High Rocks simulations, you know, just High Rocks is basically CrossFit with running with less skill. So, you know, if you just layer in some more running, if you layer in some more, you know, endurance work, 60-minute, you know, Zone 2 erg, you know, that's going to help people compete in High Rocks, which High Rocks is very fun to compete in. I love competing in High Rocks.
You have the record right now, or you were close to it?
I don't have the record. I usually finish first in my age group just because, you know, I'm an old man now.
Yeah.
It's nice as you age, kind of age into the podium. Yeah, I do not have the record.
I did hear 20 miles. Did anybody hear 20 miles? It went from like
20 miles a week.
Yeah.
That's if you want to be pretty fast in your age group. 20 miles a week is what I would say is, you know, baseline to be pretty good at High Rocks.
Gotcha. So, how many of you as affiliate owners get enough sleep? All right, good. I watch and you prioritize your recovery, as you said. Mm-hmm. What are some best practices to improve sleep, and then what are some of your best practices to get your day started right?
So sleep, super important. I'm very, very cognizant of trying to get at least 8 hours of sleep. If I'm not getting good sleep, like let's say this current chapter of life where, you know, we transitioned from Colorado to Austin for the winter, you know, life's been crazy and I am not getting the kind of sleep I'm used to. My hand's in the fire with like a massive to-do list right now, but I know that and I'm going to take my hand out soon. So I think if you're in this stage where you're opening an affiliate and life's busy, you're managing all of these balls, know your hand's in the fire. You can keep it in the fire for a bit, but eventually take it out because it's not going to be sustainable. As far as sleep tips, the biggest one is sticking to a similar structure. You know, going to bed around the same time and waking up around the same time each day. I would say that's the biggest hack of all. You know, cool, dark environment. We keep our temperature at 65 degrees in our bedroom. I wear earplugs and a sleep mask just so I can control my environment. I take a sleep supplement, magnesium, Magtine, melatonin. Definitely sleep supplements have helped me tremendously, especially in like high training volume blocks where I just have high cortisol from massively overtraining, so I can get to sleep to be able to back that up day in and day out. But I would say similar sleep structure, and then avoiding highly stimulating environments late at night. You saw me that I was at this white collar boxing event last night, which was basically like Fight Club. It was pretty cool. That's something I very rarely say yes to, and we were home at 9:15 from that. It's rare that you'll see me at an event past 7:30.
That's why I was nervous, to be fair.
Yeah.
I was
What's he doing? Is he
I've
getting drunk?
never seen him out other than his sauna. Seems like he's out right now.
Usually we're hosting people at night, doing sauna, and I'm winding down at like 8:30. I typically am not going out to late night events because I know it affects my sleep, and I can't wait to hit that 3-hour bike ride the next morning. I don't want, the night's activities to affect my days. My days are more important.
For the gentlemen out there, how do we convince our wives that 65 degrees is an acceptable...
Get an 8 sleep or a chili pad. Put it on your side of the bed.
Gotcha. Well, I wanted to open it up to everybody here. We've got about 11 minutes. Who's got... Sarah, can you... You're loud enough. Go ahead.
Okay.
That's Sarah Murphy,
Hi, Sarah.
Asbury Park CrossFit.
I'm here for you, by the way, not Jason. I know.
Thank you.
So I'm somebody who's done a few 70.3s, and actually the person who trained me is my business partner in owning a CrossFit gym.
Mm-hmm.
So a lot of what you're saying is resonating with me. However, I'm struggling with feeling selfish about putting in work to something like that while also running my gym. So I inevitably came out of the 70.3. So I'm just wondering how you mentally deal with the ins and outs of your own fitness, prioritizing it, but then also continuing to influence and impact your community. And how do you make those one of the same? I'm on your Instagram right now, and I'm like, all right, maybe documentation is just the answer, like sharing your journey. But how do you really intertwine those things so that you feel as though you're serving yourself and others?
Yeah, that is a big part of it, is sharing. Recording stuff throughout the day that you think can impact others. And again, owning a gym, you're impacting others with what you do. So knowing that by you walking the walk, that helps with business. And I don't know, I found over the years that people really respect you if you are on a path and you're doing something to get to a high level in it. So I wouldn't consider it selfish. I would consider it, you're doing you. You're doing something, without obviously dropping the glass balls that you can't drop. Like, you need to keep running your business profitably, and, you have to be good with your family. But I feel like we all have so many things that we say yes to, instead of only having like 3 or 4 things that we say yes to and we go all in on. What are the things that you can cut out that give you more time to not feel selfish about the training? And there was a period of time where I wrote out all of the things that I wanted to delegate, automate, and eliminate. And that was super powerful to recognize, shit, I'm doing a lot of stuff I don't need to be doing. Someone else can do this better than me. Why am I going to the grocery store when I can just have, stuff shipped to me? So figure out the things that are taking up time where you can be selfish in the areas that really provide tremendous return on the time investment.
So then to follow up on that, what are some things that you say no to protect what you can say yes to?
The biggest thing for me is time blocking. I really know exactly what my day is going to be like every single day. And there's things, obviously, that can get in the way. There's hurdles that come up. But, I know that I'm going to be working out from 8:30 until 10 every single day in a gym, or 5 days a week in a gym. I know generally I'm going to be doing 60 minutes of cardio in the afternoon. That's just blocked off in my calendar. I take all of my calls from 10:30 until 1:30. I have people come over to sauna. This is where I invite new people into the mix and take in-person meetings from 5 to 6:30 every single night. So just time blocking your day so that you know what you're doing each day. And again, people start to respect that. So many of my friends, for a while, they'd hit me up to, go out to a late night show. And after a while, they're just like, he doesn't go to late night shows. That's not his thing. If we want to hang out with Eric, we have to hit a morning workout with him at 8:30. If we want to get a sauna session with him, I know he does it every single night from 5 to 6:30 p.m. So just having structure in your day matters so much. And that allows you to just basically say no to everything that isn't just time blocked into your day.
Can I follow up on that? So one of the things that we coach within Affiliate University is that time blocking. And I know I'm guilty of it, I'm sure they are. It's like, that's step one. Step two is protecting that time block.
For sure.
So, and as business owners, a new potential member comes in, during my working out time block, I might not work out. So what are some things you do to not just then time block, but then to adhere to it?
Yeah, again, I think it's if you do it enough, people will understand the structure of your day and, won't invade within the structure of your day. And also, like, so many things that we think are so important in the moment probably aren't all that important. Like answering every call as it comes in. Do you really need to do that? Answering every text right when it comes in. Do you really need to do that? I mean, I get flooded with messages and I block out time to answer them instead of just doing it in the moment. I mean, Tim Ferriss, he would spend 1 hour a day or 1 hour a week, doing one of those things. So you just need to really create boundaries in your schedule. And again, people will respect that and people will adhere to it once they understand it.
I'm gonna go home and say, honey, I know it's bath time, but I've time blocked this to work out.
Sorry. Yeah, and like I said,
to adhere to it.
Well, write out your glass balls. Like, what are the glass balls you can't drop? There's way less glass balls than you think.
All right, I got you. Guido?
That's good. Yeah, just kind of piggybacking off of time blocking and maybe even like you produce so much content and sometimes I get in my head about, just how massive of an undertaking that could be, right? Like, what does that look like for you in terms of structuring? How much help do you have? Like, can you run us through like your content creation plan?
For sure. So first, do what you can replicate day in and day out. I mean, there's a lot of things I've said no to, like hosting a podcast, or, I thought about doing a YouTube channel similar to Cam Hanes, where I have interesting people come in and I take them through a day. Like, those weren't scalable for how I want to live my life. So I've picked ways to create content that I can scale day in and day out. So, when I'm out there biking, shooting a clip on my bike, I know I can overlay the stats after the bike ride and then, maybe share some kind of value or something that I learned while I was out there on the bike ride. Just filming a little bit of my workout each day so that I can post the workout that I know people follow and people share with each other. Like, what are the things people are following you for? How can you capture, that each day and then post about it each day, just being consistent with it. I do have a photographer and videographer. I'm usually with him once a week. That's mainly shooting whitelist ads for brands. Most of the organic content is just me filming stuff while I'm out and about on my iPhone. I don't overcomplicate it. I'm not doing something with a camera where it's gonna take forever to offload it and then edit it. And I'm doing stuff that is fairly fast for me to just instantly get out there and post, and I know it's of value. And then, I also consider the workouts multitasking without multitasking, where I'm getting a lot of my creative ideas when I'm going on that bike ride. Like, so many of the posts that happened while I was on the bike ride. I got this idea of, I should talk about my journey with alcohol, when I stopped drinking. Someone asked me about that on a podcast, and then it clicks. Okay, here's the carousel post. I'll use these 5 images that I've shot over the last 2 years, and this is going to add a lot of value for someone struggling with trying to get out of the party lifestyle. So.
That's cool. Yeah, thank you.
Every time you're filming on your bike, one, I'm like, how is he not out of breath? And two, I'm like, this is the one. This is where he goes down. He does it.
I have had a few falls doing that, yeah.
To Guido's question, I think one thing you do well, and I think a mistake affiliate owners, but anyone growing their brand makes, is this belief that I posted it once, everyone saw it.
Yeah.
I don't want to be, so what's your rule or lack of rules as far as reusing content or making sure people, there's this adage of like, no one knows what you're doing if you don't advertise it.
Yeah, I mean, what is brand? Brand is knowing what something is, what someone is, what something is. There's this guy who goes off into the forest. He's been doing it for like 3 or 4 years now, and he tries to lift this heavy stump over his head. And he has hundreds of thousands of followers. He still hasn't lifted it over his head, but that's what he does every single day. And you follow him because you know what you're getting, but there's this element of surprise of, is he going to get it today? What's the Kardashians? It's them living exotic lifestyles, doing similar things every single day, but there's different people in the mix, different fights they're on. different cars, whatever. So brand is just like being really consistent with your messaging, but having just a little element of surprise. So I really think that the more narrow you can be, the better. And yeah, you're so right. I mean, I've reposted many of the themes of my life over and over and over again. Those journey posts that I did for a while, I probably did 100 of those journey posts, showing me in my 20s, showing me in my 40s. And the way the algorithm works now is it favors content that is relatable to the masses, because it's showing content to 50% of your audience and 50% that's not your audience, and then it's going to show it to more people if non-followers are engaging with it. So just know that when you're posting stuff, like, how do I make it relatable? And many people have not seen it, even if you've posted it before.
You've seen it. It feels like everybody else has.
I get it 100%.
All right, last question, Joe Teepee.
So I mean, kind of going off that same thing with brand deals and stuff like that, like, take us back, like, what was the very first brand that gave you anything? That and how much, like everybody sees it now and they're like, oh, I just want stuff from my gym and stuff like that. But do you remember how that interaction was? Like, was it a very super small percentage and you felt like you gave so much back to that brand that then you got the second one?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, the first one I got paid for was Yum Butter. It was a nut butter company. I think they paid me $100 to post probably 3 feed posts in a month. And it was a nut butter that I really liked. Prior to that, I had, bike sponsorship where I would pay cost for the bike, and there were some companies, like Oakley would send me sunglasses here and there, and I would add tremendous amounts of value for them. Every single training ride I went on, here's my bike, here's the sunglasses, I love them. So yeah, you have to add a lot of value before sticking your hand out and asking for anything.
I guess that's kind of my point is yes, you have people that are giving you stuff now, but the amount of reciprocity that you have to give back in return for even that 5% discount or buying the bike at cost, to make them feel that the next one that you asked now actually feels like Eric's bringing something to the
100%. I mean, my first post on Instagram was probably 2010. And, 2015 or 16 is when I made that $100. So it was years of creating stuff. And again, I had other businesses, so this was never intended for it to become a business. And I think that was some of the beauty of it. And also some of why I've tried to keep it I want it to be around my life, and I don't want it to invade in all of these other things I enjoy doing every single day.
Awesome. Well, I don't want to make you guys late for your next breakout. Eric, Hinman, everyone, you'll be here for a little while before you head back out.
Thanks, guys.
Cool. Feel free. And one last thing, where can everybody find you out there if they don't already?
Instagram, Eric Hinman. YouTube, Eric Hinman.
Cool. Well, thank you so much, Eric, just for teaching us.
Dude.
Appreciate it. Thank you, guys.
Thanks for checking out this episode of the Best Hour of Their Day podcast. We appreciate you listening and choosing to have us help you in your passion for coaching and affiliate ownership. You can find more episodes just like this on all podcast platforms. If you're interested in learning more, you can reach out to us on any social media platforms, or you can visit www.besthouroftheirday.com to book a call. If you found this episode helpful for you, please share it so that we can help other coaches and affiliate owners to help build a bigger and stronger CrossFit community. Thanks for listening.